of Alumni Conversations. Today's episode will be being anchored. I am Lupe Sanchez, class of 2023, and I'm here with Emily.
I'm Emily Kipp-Wright. I'm class of 2015, and I am the founder and owner of Anchored and also a licensed professional counselor. When I attended Southwestern, I got my degree in psychology and a minor in art, and then I went on to St. Edward's and got my master's in counseling.
Awesome, so let's get started. Where did you see yourself when you started school at Southwestern University, and where are you now?
So I was a non-traditional student. I guess I saw myself as a stay-at-home mom who had an almost degree in education and decided it was time to have a career other than being a stay-at-home mom. And I had taken a psychology course that I really enjoyed, and so I looked into the psychology department at Southwestern and applied. So I've always taken an interest in art, and Southwestern really encouraged people to not only have a major, maybe a second, and also a minor. And so I decided to major in psychology and minor in art. And then we had what is called, still today I think, Paideia moments, and I had one of those moments when I was in my art class where something about mental health and psychology had come into play, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is one of those Paideia moments. And so that led me to do my capstone at a psychiatric hospital where I was able to do art and study under an art therapist. Yeah, that just opened up a lot of opportunity for me that I hadn't even considered before when I decided to get my degree in psychology. So Southwestern provided opportunities that I don't feel I would have gotten at other universities, and it opened up more opportunities and connections to have what I have today. So.
You mentioned that you were an almost education major. Did you take courses at another university, or were you at Southwestern taking them?
I took those, after high school I went to Stephen F. Austin, and then I took at a few junior colleges, but yes, Southwestern was separate from that.
So what do you think was your biggest motivation to get to where you are today?
Well, I'm a first generation, and so both of my parents attended college but did not complete college. And so I know, my mom died at a young age, and she always wanted to be a teacher, and she was able to be in the classroom. She was a teacher's aide. College was never an option for me and my brother. It was just talked about as part of the way of life, and it was just expected for us to go to college. And so I think I felt that I owed it to my mom to follow through with the plan that we had for me to go to college and get a degree. And just having children and the new generation coming up, I didn't know how I was going to explain to them that I didn't have a college degree, right?
Yeah.
And then expect them to go to college.
Yeah.
So we have 4 kids, and our oldest he started high school, and so I felt an obligation, that was the word I was looking for, to set that example for my children and the generations to come, that it's not necessary to have a college education, but how important it is, and there's a lot of jobs that require that form of education and training. So, yeah.
So you mentioned being a first generation student. How do you think that Southwestern specifically helped you navigate through being a first generation student?
I wish I would have started Southwestern as a freshman, because I know it's a requirement to live on campus, and I think that's a huge asset to being involved in your school. Actually, in one of my classes, we did a research project and study, and we actually got to travel and present the information that we gathered from that. And it was based on your commitment to the school, how it correlated to your success of graduating. And so what we found when we did the research, we questioned several students at Southwestern and found out what their buy-in was. Were they involved in Greek life? Were they a part of any kind of organizations? Did they have leadership roles, internships, all of those things? And we scored that, and then correlated that with their success, their grades, if they, were a junior, senior. And we also did other research with other schools to see what they found. And it was very eye-opening to see the correlation between your buy-in to school. So living on campus and being involved and doing internships and all the things that Southwestern, I feel, prides itself on. So if you're having these good experiences and making these connections and relationships with people, that's going to bring you success. And so being a non-traditional student, we actually had a cohort of non-traditional students, and we would meet, and none of us lived on campus, because non-traditional is usually you transfer in or you're older. And so we actually had an area we would meet and study and support each other. And so that was a great thing that Southwestern offered, a community for us to all support each other. Also, just the environment supports you blending in with the other students. We weren't excluded or felt like we didn't belong. It was still a close-knit community where we felt very welcome. And I stopped saying I was non-traditional because people didn't even question why I was there. Right?
Yeah, that's, I think one of the best things about Southwestern University is how close we all are to each other and how accepting we all are of each other. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that starts from day one. Like in every class, there's so many different opportunities to be involved and to get really close to the people you are with, which I know got slightly sidetracked because of COVID, but I'm excited that everything's coming back to normal.
Right.
So that's great. And as a first generation student myself, I know sometimes it's really hard to get insight into what somebody's job looks like or what they do, because we don't have that opportunity to go ask our parents or our grandparents. So I was wondering if you could tell us more about what a typical day at your job looks like.
Sure. Well, I'd first like to start with any student at Southwestern is welcome to come by Anchored and take a tour. I have students who have come and shadowed me for a day. I know there's going to be some internship opportunities coming up through Southwestern to come here and work, but this is a wellness center, so we incorporate a lot of different modalities. I'm a counselor, but there's also a meditation coach, a nutritionist. We have estheticians, we have a massage therapist, and so we incorporate a lot of different modalities to support people, which I love. And but yeah, every day is different. You never really know what to expect. So it's very exciting. It's challenging for sure. Also with the pandemic, it's been a blessing and a curse, but we can Zoom. And so anywhere in the state of Texas, I'm licensed. So I can see clients from all over. And a lot of my high school students who have gone off to college and stayed in Texas, I'm able to still see them. They don't have to find a new therapist. But yeah, it's always a different day, and we all have different jobs that we do. But I think the gist of it is people come here because they need support in one way or another, whether that's self-esteem, whether that's a trauma or something they're dealing with, or sore muscles, because a lot of things that happen to us mentally also affect our body. And when something happens to you, whether it's an interaction or something more traumatic, we hold that in our body. And so sometimes just talking about it isn't going to release that. And so sometimes a massage or meditation or some of the other modalities that we offer can help release that and help you heal.
So I know like people come here when they need, as you mentioned, help with mind or body.
Mm-hmm.
How do you cope with helping people that need help?
That's a very good question. People who are in the helping profession, I feel it's very important that they have a therapist or someone to talk to, a coach, a mentor even. Self-care is very important, and that's different for everybody. Self-care really needs to be more inward when you're in the helping profession, and so yes, a pedicure could be nice because they're massaging your feet, but something that's more taking your mind off things to where you're not exerting a lot of energy. So even though exercise is great, right? But something with journaling or art related or eating healthy, meditation, those are more things that are helpful for people in the helping profession. Because when you're in the helping profession, you always have to be on, and you have to really think in a framework of, we're professional, we are, it's can be clinical, and so we have to come from a different framework. So it's not that being in the helping profession that you have to put on a facade or be someone else, but there is a level of protection that you have to have, or that's where things go bad. When you're not doing self-care and you're not protecting yourself, that's where burnout comes in. That's where people use the word jaded. And so I've worked in psychiatric hospitals, and I've seen that happens a lot. And so just being able to talk to someone else about your own stuff, even sometimes you need to talk about what happens in the office, but sometimes you have to talk about your own stuff too, because we are not supposed to carry other people's struggles and hurt and pain. We're just supposed to hold it. And we don't necessarily have to give it back, but it does need to go into a container or a box and be put away. But we're just supposed to hold it. So that's something, if you plan to go into the helping profession, that you have to learn how to do, because you could be carrying around a lot of weight that you don't need.
Do you think that's come with practice, or do you think that's something that you've kind of learned more like when you were getting your master's, or was it something that was ever mentioned to you, or was that something you ended up realizing yourself?
So I really think it goes back to Southwestern, because of the small class size and having my professor's contact information and being able to meet with my advisor or my mentor pretty much whenever I needed to. And so I think Southwestern modeling that, and then going into my master's program, I sought that out, and so I received that through my master's program, and then I continued to do that as I built my practice and started my career. But I really think that was instilled in me at Southwestern. I believe the university provides a certain amount of counseling sessions if you need support, and I took advantage of that while I was there. And so I feel like it started at Southwestern, and that was something I sought for when I was looking into master's programs. Okay, what program is going to teach me all that I need to know, but also support me, because I'm going into the helping profession. Mm-hmm. And I know that that's important.
So you were mentioning Paideia, and I think it's so important to recall back to that, because It's definitely something that I feel like even me, who I'm still a junior at Southwestern, I'm learning how to connect what I'm learning in the class to what I'm doing outside of the class. So I'm really glad you mentioned that. That's very inspiring to hear, of course. I am very, very thankful that you shared that with us. I have one last huge question. If you could give an undergraduate student, same career goal as you, any advice, what would it be?
I think just that anything is possible. Absolutely nothing is impossible. You really have to believe in yourself and absolutely believe that what you want to do, you can do, and use the resources that you're provided at Southwestern. You know, I am a resource. Use alumni, use your professors, use your mentor, your advisor. There are so many things that are available at Southwestern, and so my advice to someone there now wanting to do this is just use all of those resources.